Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. This is Paul from This Way to the Aquarium, and today is moving day. So I've got a bunch of Lake Tanganyikan fish in here that I'm going to be moving out of this tank. Basically all the fish in here are going to be moving to two new tanks that are set up downstairs in my basement fish room. So I've got 3 Gelidiochromis who have been showing breeding behavior, and I've seen small fry in the past. Usually they're getting picked off by the lupis that I've got in there. So what I plan on doing is taking those 3 Gelidiochromis, putting them in a 20-gallon tank of their own over there so they can breed, they can have their fry. It's a little more safer environment for them. The lupis and the 1 Cyprichromis that's still in this tank, they'll go into a separate 40-gallon tank. And later on, I will add some more fish into that tank. So the process of moving fish can be challenging. So I've done it in the past before when I had a number of Cyprichromis. I've removed a female who was holding at the time and was able to move her into a quarantine tank in the basement. It's not easy, especially when you have a lot of decorations in here. As you can see from this tank, I've got this artificial rock wall over here. I've got a lot of rocks and plants in the tank as well too. So the fish, when you try and get them in the net, they run and hide and it stresses them out. So I actually did try to take just the 3 Gelidiochromis out earlier because my 20-gallon tank was set up early, was ready to go. Unfortunately, I failed at that. The fish were able to hide, even though I took out this back rock wall over here. The fish were able to still hide. There were still plenty of decorations in and around, and it was just stressing all the fish. So I said, okay, let's just leave it for now. Set up the second tank as well, so that way when everybody's ready to go, I can grab all the fish out at the same time and move them to their new tanks. It's not the case that we can reason or rationalize with these fish and say, hey, you're going to some better digs. Instead, the fish kind of freak out and they get stressed out, so it's best to do it as fast as possible and as quickly as possible. So what I plan on doing today is basically taking everything out, everything except the filter, the heater. I'll leave the sponge filter as well as the internal canister filter in there, but there's a lot of decorations in the bottom over here. You can see plants and whatnot. So I plan on taking all that stuff out just to make the process easier. So let's take a look at the supplies and equipment I have that I'm going to use to help me take these fish out of the tank. To start off with, I've got a couple of buckets. Since there are 2 groups going into 2 different tanks down there, I decided to use 2 buckets. You can see I've already got a number of nets here. The most important one is this large net right here. Larger net makes it easier to capture the fish. And what I plan on doing as well is using this here. It's a landscaping tool, and basically kind of use this as a chase to chase the fish, trying to get them in the net, keep the net stationary, and use that tool over there to coax them into the net and then swoop them out. It's something I do happen to have on hand. If you don't happen to have that type of thing on hand, the next easy thing to use to help chase the fish into a net is your hand. So similar type of thing, you know, kind of coax the fish in using your hand towards the net, make it easier for them to go into the net and get them out calmly and safely. So as part of this process, as you can see, I've already got some towels laid out here. I need to take off the lid to the aquarium and then take off the lids and then take off this artificial rock wall over here. There's 2 pieces, and so those are pretty large and just things will get wet, messy, so got some towels over here. Some more towels here, as well as this other bucket here. So what I plan on doing with this bucket is siphoning some water from the tank directly in there. And as you can see, there's a lot of plants in there, a lot of rocks in there. It's got a lot of beneficial bacteria and stuff on it too. And that way, by keeping it in a bucket with aquarium water in there, it'll help preserve some of the bacteria and life on the rocks. That way it'll help the tank in the future when the new inhabitants come in. So this tank is a bit messy. I was trying to catch those fish out earlier, so it kicked up a lot of mulm, as you can see over there. And then I was cleaning out one of the filters to cycle the other tank, and so that kicked up a lot of mulm as well too. So it definitely needs a good cleaning. Some of these plants are going to be transferred downstairs as well too, to a different tank. And some of these other plants I'll just clean up here as well too, and then they should work fine for this. Definitely going to need to rescape this because the lupis especially have dug there. As you can see, they dug quite a bit of sand over here, moved it around, and so I just need to rescape everything here too once everybody is out. So these are the tanks here that are going to be the new homes for the fish from upstairs. They've already been cycled. The sponge filter came from upstairs. It was running in that tank for a number of years, so it's got a lot of bacteria on it. And this one I squeezed the filter pad from the tank upstairs into this one there to seed it. So it should be good to go. I'm going to be monitoring both of these tanks after the fish are moved in. And I already tested both of these tanks once just a few moments back, just to make sure that they're reading 0 on the nitrates and 0 on ammonia, which they both are. So I got the camera set up in Your Location. Let's get started with this process. Got the 3 Gelitochromis here. It was much easier definitely with all the decorations out of the tank. And I've got 4 Lulupi and 1 Cyprichromis, so they're all ready to go down. Just keep it covered up with a towel to stress them out less. So let's start the process downstairs. So I'm going to turn off all the lights for these tanks. With no light on in these tanks, I can turn off the overhead light here too once they're in, and that way it's just giving them a chance to ease into the tank. Not to get overly stressed with the bright light on as well. The temperatures in these tanks are pretty much spot on with each other. Keep them set around the same temperature. The water type, it's the same type of water that I've used upstairs as that I'm using downstairs. It's a tap water, conditioned tap water, so they should be fine. Don't need to do too much conditioning for them. Gelitochromis have started to explore their new environment. This guy in the corner over there looks a little more stressed out. Hopefully he's fine. I'll check on him throughout the day. I'm thinking tomorrow morning everybody should be fine. See, there's one popping his head out there, taking a look. Lulupis is kind of hard to see because the light's off here, but you can see initially they went into hiding. I can see 2 right there. Cyprichromis, I also don't know where he is. He's probably hiding somewhere. But I'll check them out throughout the day, and hopefully everything's okay. So here's a couple of the Lulupis, the Cyprichromis. There is a Lulupi hiding in and around here somewhere. I just saw him a minute ago. Presuming the 4th one is there too. Bunch more rocks on this corner here, so it's easier for them to hide. Gelitochromis here, they're settling in as well. There's a female and a male hanging out here in between the rocks. There's another male at the top over here. He's still seeming to want to battle. So there's some territory disputes going on between these 2 males here, as you can see. Hopefully they settle out here soon. There's room for both. Both of them still want to challenge each other to see who's boss, who's the tank boss here. And I did test both these tanks here just a few minutes back. Check both nitrates, and ammonia, showing 0 across the board for both tanks. So happy there. And I will be checking these on a regular basis as well too. Just making sure that nothing spikes. And if there are any issues, then water change, adding some chemicals to lock those chemicals up so they're not harmful to fish. So all in all, that process wasn't too hard. Once I got everything out of the tank, it was easy to catch the fish. That was the main thing to do, is just basically get everything out of the tank, any places that they can hide. Use 2 nets, use some other tool, your hand and another net, and then it was easy to catch them up. The longest part actually was me taking everything out, catching the fish. Probably took 10 to 15 minutes at most. So I've tried other methods in the past where I've tried to catch a particular fish at night to see, okay, they're sleeping, they're not moving. Quickly go and grab them, that's fine if they're out in the open and you can see them. Other things I've heard is to use food, bribe them to come up towards the top and then net them. It's easier said than done in my opinion, because even with the food over there, if they're skittish, they're not going to be coming up towards the top, especially these bottom-dwelling type of fish like the Julitochromis and the Lulupis. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What other methods have you used to successfully catch your fish? When it comes to moving an entire tank like that, it's easy. You can remove everything. But if you just need to remove one or more fish at one particular time, then it can be a little challenging and you stress out the other fish by removing all the equipment and all the decorations. So drop your thoughts in the comments below. What other methods have you found successful to catch your fish? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.